Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight to the update, day number 145. And I'm so thankful that you're here. Things are going pretty interesting today. I just rolled back in here, had a dinner to go to tonight, but everything was ready to roll. And it is 9:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've got the Slava Ukraina shirt on. And just want to say welcome to you guys jumping in here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Reddit, and every other place that you're watching. God bless you. Big shout out to Ricochet. I had a little technical difficulty about 20 minutes ago. Just a little goofy link thing, but that was all fixed. Thank you for letting me know. Chuck Pinkham, God bless you. Carol, welcome out there in California. Lennon Harold, Ricochet, even you. JDO, looks like several traders. Let me throw that one up there. You are correct. Zelensky had to clean a little house today. Looks like several traders have been outed in Kyiv. Yes, that is correct. We need to hear that more heavy weapons have arrived. Well, I don't know about more, but I'm going to give you the real numbers tonight. Nate Fody, welcome to you, my friend. R. Dot from the desert. You're welcome, my friend. God bless you. Rick Berry, Nancy Adair out there in Nevada. All you guys on Facebook, welcome to you as well. There's so many places that chats are happening. It's hard for me to keep up with it all. So welcome. Be blessed. And it is time to get to it tonight. Here we go. The hunt is on. Shoigu put out a statement today in cooperation with some top brass there in Moscow, and that is, of course, a picture of Shoigu. And the problem is the longer range weapons are wearing Russia out. So Shoigu and top Russian military brass, they shifted to a hunt for these weapons. And as of right now, this is not private information. These guys are a little strange. They sat in a circle today in Moscow discussing their war plans. And of course, they'll do different than they say, but they stated that they're sending 200 special forces behind enemy lines to take out the long-range weapons, which would be the HIMARS and other weapon systems. 9 HIMARS and 1 M270 is what I saw last from Ricochet. So, but that's the weapons that they are hunting because it's eating their lunch. So we shall see what happens in regard to that. But right now, I can tell you, hunt or no hunt, Ukraine is doing a really good job. Now, with that said, I want to go to the map to start tonight. We'll get to Zhenya. We'll get to the refugees. We've got so much stuff tonight. And I've got tonight a graphic for you called the true numbers of this war. I'm going to show you the current balance of power. This was released today. It's very, very interesting. But before we go there, let me update you on what is happening here. So it seems, well, it doesn't seem. Right now, Odessa is under fire, been hit multiple times. There are wounded. There are dead. They're just getting to it. I remind you, it is 4:06 a.m. in Ukraine. This happened a few hours ago. Of course, it's dark and rescue operations are underway. It's all kind of breaking information. And when we get to the end of the update, I'll check again. But I can tell you Odessa hit very, very hard tonight. Not only Odessa, but how I showed you a night ago or a couple nights ago, Nikopol and Zaporozhye continue to be struck from the nuclear power station. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Today, Russian forces at the nuclear power station, how many? 37 were eliminated. That's all we have. No strike from Ukraine from far away with a shelling type weapon, no missile, nothing. They were there somehow. 37, and we know at least 500 soldiers are there at the nuclear power station there in Energodar. But I can tell you today, For a fact, 37 of the enemy were eliminated today. That's all that was said. 37 Russian Federation forces at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant at Energodar were eliminated. So, how they did it, it was a clandestine operation, I am sure. Now, over in the east, we finally start to have a beginning of what seems to be ground movement again. I told you 4 or 5 days ago that there was a technical pause. The ground forces for Russia were restocking, rotating, resting, whatever they're doing, and there really was a pause on the ground forces. They continue to shell and to attack through the air. However, the boots on the ground were paused. We do know that there has been some movement once again. In fact, it would be here coming in towards Siversk, Artemyevsk, which is actually Bakhmut. And we shall see what unfolds. But this is just also happening here in the last few hours. The last thing, what do I have? Mykolaiv being struck as well nonstop, and Toretsk. Toretsk was hit very hard today, and I know, listen, you'll never find Toretsk, but Toretsk is right there. It's right above Donetsk. That is Ukrainian occupied territory. I guess it would be Ukrainian sovereign territory. It's not occupied by Russia. Was struck very hard, and that is the town of Toretsk. So that's what's been happening as far as the technical side today with the strikes, and the hunt is on for these heavier ranged weapons. Now, this is why I'm going to miss Boris Johnson, and I know he's moving on. There's lots of instability in the world. We've talked about that over the last few days. But this type of leader, I'm just hoping that more of this type of leaders step up. Now, why am I saying that? Why am I going to miss Boris Johnson? What are you talking about? Well, this is the type of leadership that is needed to stand up against the propaganda and the evil war machine of the Kremlin. So I'm going to show you a clip of Boris Johnson today, and then I'm going to rotate over to a clip from Dmitry Peskov. And this is going to be my reasoning, my logic for why we need Borises. Now, I know Boris Johnson is moving on. Maybe he can come to Ukraine and we'll make him a citizen immediately and he can help serve there. The invitation's already been given. And I know that was, tongue in cheek from Ukraine, but they did offer Boris Johnson to come to Kyiv to help. But this is why I like and think we need leadership types like Boris. Sorry, Ricochet. Yes, sir, Top Gun. So there he is, and I know that people look at it and go, but listen, trust me, this is the type of leadership that you need out on a plane, thumbs up in front of the refueling plane. Somebody, George Bush climbing up on top of, and I'm not here for the politics of it, but a George Bush climbing up on the rubble saying, we'll hunt you down. A Ronald Reagan saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. This is the type of leadership that's needed, and we have zero of it in the world now. Zero. Why do we need that type of leadership? Because this is the trash that we have to combat. Get ready. Translated, Dmitry Peskov from today, talking about Ukraine. Remember, this is not just the spokesperson of the Kremlin. This is Vladimir Putin's personal spokesman. Dmitry Peskov.
У нас нет никаких сомнений, что специальная военная операция завершится после того, как все ее цели будут достигнуты. Нет каких-то четких временных рамок. Главное – эффективность выполнения этой операции. Наш президент, господин Путин, неоднократно подчеркивал, что наши вооруженные силы имеют четкий приказ Верховного Главнокомандующего избегать ущерба для гражданской инфраструктуры и жертв среди гражданского населения. Поэтому вооруженные силы работают очень аккуратно, используют высокоточное оружие, исключают какие-либо удары по гражданской инфраструктуре, чего, к сожалению, не скажешь об украинской стороне, особенно о националистических батальонах и подразделениях, которые не гнушаются ничем.
Did you hear that? Did you hear Peskov? Why didn't he finish? Where's the rest of my Peskov? How are you black, Peskov? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, but what has happened to the rest of him? He goes on to say that Ukraine is the one doing all of the attacks. So you saw the beginning of it. This is the trash that comes out of Moscow. I'm sorry. I'll figure out what happened to the second half of that video later. There's a lot of layers in it when I translate. Never heard so many lies in a couple of sentences. So listen, I know there's differences of opinion, but that's why we can work together and communicate and try to educate each other. Remember, this update each night is twofold: to keep the truth going to the world, and number two, to support our humanitarian effort, to work alongside our church, raising funds, of which this Sunday we have a huge auction coming. Listen, I'm telling you that this is the only, it will never stop. And I know we can disagree on leaders and all that. That's great. What I'm saying is this: the only type leaderships that the Soviet mentality respects are the ones that will say, tear down the wall, climb up on a pile of rubble and say, we're coming after you, or jump in an airplane. Do you remember? I wish I should have put it on here. Do you remember the picture of Vladimir Putin riding on the horse, bare-chested for the world to see? It's the only language they understand, period. You have to understand we're dealing with a different mentality. Let me show you the mentality. Folks, you need to buckle your seatbelt, because what I'm getting ready to show you, Russian soldier goes to Ukraine. Russian soldier gets killed. Russian family gets a payment for the death of their son. Russian family takes, and this is called like a coffin fund. It's grub, but a coffin or to help bury them, all of those things. You got the picture? Okay, here you go.
Как деды и прадеды он сражался с фашизмом.
В память о Сэдди, говорю, купили новенькую машину.
Новая «Лада» куплена на то, что в народе называют гробовыми, а официально единовременным пособием семье погибшего. Отец говорит, что Алексей мечтал именно о белой, о такой. Выезжает в первый раз на кладбище.
This is why. Take the coffin money, buy a car, brand new, Lada, because my dead son wanted a white one. I'm telling you. Okay, enough of that. You ready for this one? Here you go. Turkey is considering freezing the accession to NATO for Finland and especially Sweden, stating that they are not holding up sufficiently to their sides of the agreement. Isn't it interesting that these statements from Erdogan and Turkey come on the day of travel when these nations are arriving in Iran? And I can confirm that Erdogan is there in Tehran. Putin is there in Tehran. They will be meeting with Ibrahim Raisi. It's just in a few hours they'll be meeting. Isn't it interesting that Turkey begins to say, maybe Finland and Sweden, we're going to put the freeze on you coming into NATO. How about this one? Have you guys ever heard of BRICS? BRICS. Not what you build your house with, but BRCS. BRICS is the acronym coined to associate 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. All they did was take the first letter of each nation, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and they came up with the acronym BRICS. The BRICS members are known for their significant influence on world affairs, economy, policies, you name it. Now think about this for a moment. You have the BRICS group, and why am I showing it to you? There is a reason. This came out in the Egyptian news today. Yes, I checked the Egyptian news when I'm reading the Jerusalem news. So this came out in the Egyptian news today. What came out in the Egyptian news today? Well, Turkey, Egypt, and KSA, which is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, may join BRICS forum very soon. So now we would have, think about this, and they will join it immediately, folks. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Turkey, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. Turkey, who's in NATO, who is now in Iran, meeting with Russia and Iran, helping to negotiate the grain, whom today said, no, I think we're going to freeze Sweden and Finland, and I think we're going to join BRICS, along with Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Of course, Saudi Arabia, President Biden just left Saudi Arabia, and now they're going to join BRICS. So, take it a step further. Here is the map of sanctioning nations, and this is why this is so interesting. All of the orange are nations that have sanctioned Russia. Of course, United States and all of Europe, Australia. Russia in the red, of course, has not sanctioned themselves, but I just outlined them to show you how big geographically they are. And of course, with geography comes resources. Now, the green nations are the current members of BRICS: Russia, China, India, Brazil, and South Africa. Do you guys notice something interesting about those nations? They're very large geographically. Brazil is basically 50% of South America. Of course, South Africa, the large nation on the southern tip, very wealthy in resources. And then you combine India and China, and you basically cover all of Asia. And then Russia wraps through 11 time zones. Now, the nations circled in black: Turkey, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. I'm just putting this out there, much like I have put other things out early on in the war, and they seem to sometimes unfold. Keep your eyes on BRICS. This is a coalition, and it's not a military coalition, but don't think it couldn't turn into something more than just global influence and economics. It's quite a coalition here of nations. Now, title of the program tonight is called Balance of Power. Can Turkey be kicked out of NATO? Yes, Turkey can be kicked out of NATO, but that would take and I know one of the guys in here will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that would take a unanimous operation of the other NATO nations. BRICS is the axis of evil. I'm telling you, Burnett, you're spot on. There's something going on with the BRICS, and I'm just look at the map, folks. And this is why when Zhenya will say it, or I'll say it, or others will say it. The foreign minister of Lithuania, seventh package of sanctions. I showed you the tweet, the quote. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Doesn't matter. Look at the part of the world that Russia can do business with. So you take off Europe and America and Australia and Canada and Greenland. We've got all of Africa. We've got all of South America. We've got Mexico, China, India, all the Asian nations. What's the problem? And the entire Muslim world. Do you think they're really worried about Slovakia buying their gas? Of course not. And now we have more of these nations coming together. Balance of power. All right. I know a lot of you war guys are going to like this one. Artillery war. Here's the balance of power. Russia, and this was put out today, Russia expels about 20 to 50,000 shells per day. Ukraine, 4 to 5,000. Ukraine has about 1,000 howitzers, 200 MLRS systems. Russia, 3,000 howitzers, 1,200 MLRS. Now let's look balance of power by amount of impact. Light howitzers. Russia has 750 and 6,600 in reserve. Ukraine has 200. That means that Russia has a 3.75x advantage. Light self-propelled howitzers, 100 to 122 millimeters. Russia, 550, 1,800 in reserve. Ukraine, between 100 and 250. That is a 2.5 advantage for Russia. Go to the next level. Heavy howitzers. Russia has 250 active, 1,600 in reserves. Ukraine has 400 active. Ukraine here actually has an advantage in heavy howitzers. Now we go to heavy self-propelled howitzers. Russia has 1,300 active, 2,400 in reserve. Ukraine has 280, a 4.5x advantage for Russia. Go to the next level, and this is what everybody's so interested in. This is the multiple launch rocket systems, the MLRS. Broken down with Russia having about 1,300, Ukraine having 200. This would be where the Uragan is. This would be where the HIMARS systems are. Very accurate. Russia has a 6.5x advantage. So this gives you a little bit of insight into the levels of the military infrastructure that both sides have. So the balance of power is swung very heavily, of course, into Russia's favor. And this is why we continue talking about we need weapons, we need weapons, we need weapons. I want to show you this, and then I'm going to show you an update. Let's go here first, though. Got some interesting comments here. Brazil's 46% rainforest. That's correct. Still, it's half of South America. And I've spent a lot of time in a few nations down there. Ecuador, Guyana. Yeah. Rick Berry, coalition aimed directly at the Valley of Magaida. I agree with that completely. Ricochet, though, Brazil contains extremely rich mineral reserves. That's kind of my point in showing that and discussing it. Brazil and China cooperate militarily. Yes, they do. You're seeing the picture here. CZ, the potential of China and India is colossal. That's correct. That's the two nations with the highest population. And Turkey is a dictatorship and Islamic. They are broker to the Black Sea. If they join Russia completely, Russia will be out to the Mediterranean Sea with 27 countries. Turkey, I'm not going into a Bible lesson here, but, Turkey is in biblical times Asia Minor. You're talking about a focal point of the world where many of the early churches were established. Paul would write his letters. They were located in modern day Turkey. Turkey, in combination with nations like, of course, Israel and Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Damascus, the ancient city, this area is the focal point of the world. And Turkey knows it. They absolutely know. They're right there in the center of the world. And as most of these nations, they want the attention. So we go back here. Let me go back here just one time before we go to that picture. So if you look at it, and that was some really good conversation there in the chat, much appreciated. When you start looking at it just a little bit differently, and this is the sanctioning map, but you see, and listen, you see Ukraine, it's so small in comparison when you look at the big picture. They are colored blue. They're just behind their name. This is an interesting situation with the BRICS. So, of course, we will continue to watch it. Now, I want to give a picture and a shout out. We did a local summer camp here in our local area, and one of our viewers, Angie Kuhn, and she led it. She's over there on the left, kneeling down. Had a lot of great kids from around Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area, Ohio. They had an amazing race-themed summer camp. And I've got my Slava Ukraina shirt on, and I went by there and spoke one night about Ukraine. Others, PK went by and spoke about Ecuador, and Pastor Jim was speaking. It was really cool. It was about the amazing race, but you can see the colors there of blue and yellow for Ukraine, and the kids were so supportive. They've made posters. They've made all kind of different things that I actually will be taking to Ukraine when I head over there. One is a big brown piece of paper. They all signed and said they love Ukraine and support it. It's just a really cool thing. Now, with that said, I want to show you one more picture here tonight, and this is the Dniester River. This is not the Dnieper. This is the Dniester. This is running from western Ukraine down through Moldova, and then it runs out to the Black Sea. It is a beautiful, beautiful river. And this is where the camp is located. As you know, guys, we are supporting, and maybe you don't know it. We have so many new people here, but I want to do this, and then you do not want to miss this video from Zhenya. I promise you. But I want to show you this first. Thank you for continuing to pray for Ukraine. Our base here in Western Pennsylvania, I've been working myself in Ukraine for over 25 years, Russia since 1994. I speak the language, and we've been partnered there. We also support it out of our church, where we've raised over $120,000, and every penny of it plus goes to Ukraine. Next Sunday, the 24th, we will be having a huge auction. And here you can see it, our benefit auction coming up Sunday, July the 24th for Ukraine relief. I mean, it's going to be big time with nothing but new, beautiful stuff, all going to be auctioned off, professional auctioneers, and it is going to be phenomenal, and every penny going there. We are also in conjunction with a local car company here, Gordon's Auto. We're going to be auctioning off a car we don't play when it comes to supporting Ukraine. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Pastor Kent for spearheading this. And of course, you can donate online. And yes, 501c3, all the important official stuff. And in Ukraine, we are a registered NGO, non-governmental organization, and charity fund, 100% legal. So thank you for that. And every penny goes there. Now, with that said, we come to something that you guys have invested in, and that would be refugees. Everybody's always asking, okay, PG, how are the refugees? What's going on with that? And you know, the flow is always changing depending on what's happening in the war. But right now, we are, and when I say we, you know, people have asked me, how can you keep saying we? Потому это наше. Because it is ours. We work together. We partner together. We are invested with our time and our effort and our talent and our treasure. We are a strong supporter of getting the truth out for Ukraine, of sharing the truth with the world, and we're not going to give up. We're standing side by side with our Ukrainian brothers. So we say we because we are a big family, and we together as a great community are supporting them financially and with encouragement and relationships and getting the truth out. So thank you. You guys have given money. You continue to give money, and we're so thankful. One of the things that you are funding is right this very second, 4:34 a.m. I'm 100% live right now. 4:34 a.m. And it looks just like that. I've been to this Nestor many, many times at this camp. It's our camp, our NGO's camp, our charity funds camp. We have there now at the camp refugee children from Kramatorsk, from Kharkiv, from Slavyansk, from the war zone, enjoying a little summer. And we want to say thank you. How are we going to do it? Here you go. Today.
Так. Добавь, скажи, и добавки тоже. А, за що? Що там? Мама. Hello dear friends, so it's a video from the camp and I want to share it with you. So we have three teams right at this moment, and all teams right now they're discussing and they were playing a lot, and at this moment they're discussing what friendship is and how to become best friend and what Bible says about that. They sharing own experience, and they surely they had nice time. I mean, like barbecue with the sausages and the marshmallow and so on. And we have different kids here, children from Kramatorsk, children from Lugansk and other places. They are here because we had budget, we had money to pay for them to pay for the food, for transportation. And so thank you very much. And they enjoying, they forgot about the war. Nobody, I mean, tells about this in this moment because they're happy to be just a normal kids having normal life. So thank you. And you see, there is two more fireplaces. The parents are happy, kids are happy, and we're happy that we can be a part of that. Thank you very much, and God bless you richly.
That'll choke you up right there. If anyone ever asks why we support Ukraine, you just saw it. If anyone wonders, why am I going to go over there in a few weeks? That's why. We're going to put our boots on the ground and let them know, not only with our finances and being here each night, but we're going to put some feet on the ground too. That's absolutely incredible. So, 2 good kids camps. I mean, my favorite statement that he made was, they've been able to forget about the war for a little bit. Doesn't get any better than that. Well, folks, you're fully updated. I will check before we roll out. Thank you for all the comments. I'm laughing because Zhenya's watching. He's in the camp. Yeah, that's the ticket. Be blessed, guys. Thank you. That's it. You're fully updated. 23 hours. We'll see you again. Good night to you all. And as Zhenya would say, but he's sleeping in a camp. Well, he's not asleep because he just messaged me. He's watching. So all a good night. Be blessed. See you in 23 hours.